in February 2021 when a YouTube channel posted a video on February 11th calling for some of India's most prominent journalists to be hanged. Hi, you're watching Right News and I am Hira Mustafa.
Above and beyond the headlines, like, follow and subscribe to White News.
No matter how big a democratic society there is, the accolade of fourth pillar of the society goes undisputedly to the civil society. But in India, this fourth pillar is being openly shamed and muffled. Recently, the two journalists named Samriddhi Sakwena and Surina Jha, covering the recent anti-Muslim violence in Tripura, were taken into police custody on charges of spreading communal disharmony.
The police claims that the journalists have falsely reported about the incident of burning of Holy Quran on Twitter, but the journalists and their lawyers have argued that they were just doing their job and the government is punishing them for questioning the official narrative.
C.J. Worlman, the USA-based journalist and human rights activist, was also among the 5 journalists who got charged in Tripura terror episode. Also, the Tripura police filed terror charges against lawyers who produced a fact-finding report on the recent anti-Muslim violence in the state. This sheer harassment and targeting of the press in India has only become a routine happening. It reached a new low in February 2021 when a YouTube channel posted a video on February 11th calling for some of India's most prominent journalists to be hanged. It marked a new danger for India's free press. The video was shared by a host of right-wing figures despite its call to execute at least 5 senior journalists, with no authority taking action against the man who called for the hangings.
YouTube has removed a video from its platform calling for several journalists to be hanged to death for conspiring against the country.
Some guy I've never heard of creates a video and says that all of us who were named in this online docket as reporters covering the farmers' protest should be basically executed. We should also be arrested. Political leaders who are affiliated with the ruling party, the BJP, actually supported the video.
Over the last 5 years, the civil society in India has seen a surge of government raids and criminal cases filed against them. A gradual choking of independent voices has been done in the media through criminal cases. They are being pressurized to self-censor and drop opinion pieces, and the government finds uncomfortable. Journalist Rana Ayub was targeted with organized troll campaign for criticizing the government over the farmers' protest in January. Freelance journalist Mandeep Punya was dragged away from a farmers' protest site on Delhi's outskirts on the evening of January 30th. Supriya Sharma, executive editor of Scroll, who covered Chhattisgarh's conflict between Maoists and security forces, has rightly articulated, "I never imagined I would see a day when the chill would spread through the country, when I would fear for the safety of my colleagues going out to report in the national capital." Kashmir's journalists have witnessed a pattern of intimidation and surveillance since August 2019, when Article 370 of the Indian Constitution granting Jammu and Kashmir special status was abrogated. Journalists have been threatened, roughed up, booked under the Unlawful Activities Act 1967. Asif Sultan, a journalist with Kashmir Narrator, has been in jail since August 27, 2018, charged under the UAPA. Srinagar-based journalist Aqib Javed was slapped, threatened by the police after he wrote in Article 14 about police intimidation of Twitter users. On the day when police in Jammu and Kashmir arrested a human rights activist for questioning the Central Reserve Police Force for killing a young man, Ajit Doval told trainee police officers that civil society was a fourth frontier of war, equating the fundamental fourth pillar to a fifth column, which has to be dealt with and subdued.
But it is the civil society that can be subverted, that can be suborned, that can be divided, that can be manipulated to hurt the interest of a nation.
These are not just mere words, rather the state-driven regime policy, which believes in crushing the voice of the voiceless, which a civil society is termed as. When the rule of jungle becomes a blind law, then there is little or no time left for that society to completely implode, and this is where India is heading today. Freedom of press has always been a cherished right in all democratic countries. which keeps the democratic power in checks and balance. But India is a complete sham in the name of democracy, and Dowell's theory of democracy is nothing more than a policeman's charter for a police state. When Narendra Modi, the head of the state, bears the title of the worst human massacre in Gujarat, when Ajit Dowell, India's national security advisor, openly confesses of running terror campaigns in the neighboring region of Sri Lanka and Pakistan, justifies the open lynching of a perceived terrorist by the common people, it only uncovers the deep collaboration of the state handlers who believe that questioning the government and its security agencies of human rights violations somehow threatens the national security. The forceful shutdown of civil society in India is a nightmare in the making. It is a threat for the Indian state and the entire region at large, which is going to suffer the repercussions. The corruption of the very law-promoting brutality under blind writ of the state is a final nail in India's total collapse as a society and the state.